Hello, welcome back to the Care in Conversation studio. We are live from the Care Show in Birmingham with our sponsor today, Cornerstone Care Solutions, and we've got a new guest in the studio. So do you want to tell us who you are and what you do?
My name's Neemat Sadiq, and I'm the CEO for Langdale Care Homes and also the founder and CEO for Care Apps. And I guess the journey actually is about me in care. I've been in care for 21 years. And I started off buying my first care home, and I went undercover, and I wanted to learn what it felt like to deliver care, to work with the carers, to understand what they went through each day, how to actually deliver better care to our residents. And I worked in different departments. I helped out with housekeeping, I helped out with kitchen assistant, whatever I could actually do to learn, I did.
I love the idea of this, like that you're. I assume you'd sort of purchased it at this point.
I was in the process.
Or you were in the process of purchasing it, and then you applied for a job.
Absolutely.
And went there, and they didn't know.
They didn't know, and so.
So at least you know who
like
to
the
fire.
Undercover boss, but no, not quite. I think for me, I come from a legal background, so for me it was very important that whatever I did, from the regulatory point of view, I understood the regulations and why they were there, and the safeguards that were put in place, because that's really important to actually safeguard our vulnerable adults. And I think for me it was about understanding what each department, what each person felt like, right from the carer right up to your management. And I knew I'd have to become a registered manager as well, so I wanted to learn all the roles that were part of giving care, and which is what I did. Obviously on the day I took over, I had a CQC inspection, which was really fantastic. And
on the day
I took over.
I mean, so that was a few years ago. So yeah,
21 years ago.
I don't think you get that today.
And you know what? I remember that moment very well in terms of feeling daunted about the CQC coming in. Although you realise that there's a reason for regulation, it's actually like, it scared me. It scared me so much, thinking, have I put things in place? And they wanted evidence for all the safeguards that I've put in, all the evidence of the care logs that I've done. And I remember that as a carer, it was hard to remember who had eaten what, how much they'd eaten, to document all of that. It was all paper records. I mean, till today, I believe there are still some paper records that do exist, especially.
It's about 20% of places still have it. Yeah, still have it.
And I remember at that point thinking, I couldn't sleep at night. I used to think I have contractual obligations to the local authorities, to the ICBs. I have it to the Care Quality Commission, and what about my moral contractual obligations to the residents and also to my staff teams, and how hard it is to be able to showcase the type of care you give when somebody's coming in and taking just a snapshot of that care day, when everything decides to go pear-shaped on that day, and you're thinking, my goodness me. So
we had a chap in the studio earlier who had a CQC inspection, but he wasn't there when the CQC, he didn't know, wasn't there when he was arriving because they were short-staffed. He'd popped to the shop to buy donuts for the team, and so then when he got back, the CQC inspector was there all grumpy, and he's, oh my god. So it's a big deal, isn't it?
It's a big deal. Yeah. It's a really big deal, and I think as much as our authorities and regulators want to come in and say that they're here to make people feel comfortable, it is still daunting on the provider, especially the smaller providers where they don't have so much resource. I mean, the financial, when you look at the markets today in terms of how stressful it is from a financial point of view to run care homes, especially when you don't have groups. I mean, I'm still a very small group in the sense I have 7 homes, and I was busy focused on wanting to actually deliver good care. But on the way, I did fall short in places. I did have to learn some really hard lessons. But I realized that those lessons are what grew me and what enabled me to be here today.
Yeah.
Where I was able to then think of a solution that, and when you ask about solutions, there's so many solutions here today.
Yeah.
And kudos to all of them. I mean, they've all brought something wonderful to the market. But from my perspective, it was those nights. It was the loneliness. It was the fear. And I needed to remove that fear from providers. I needed to have a digital application that wasn't just something that stored like a digital filing cabinet. It wasn't just to store information, it was to act upon it.
Yeah.
Something that actually filled those gaps and communicated. Something that actually changed the way and prompted and guided our staff actually helped our staff. So I went through application after application, and I still currently have applications that are out there on the market. But that's where I found that there was still gaps where I needed to come in and I needed to work from somebody at a perspective who knows what I need to do to be compliant, knows exactly how a system, or in my case, a companion needs to be there with me, a support system that was able to share in that load, take the pressure off.
Yeah, because often the care systems can, maybe not necessarily the care systems, but as a business owner, the things that you need to use to keep your records and keep on top of things can sometimes make your life more complicated. And we found this, for example, in our business when we were trying to adopt a customer relationship management system. They all were just way more complicated than the way we did it, which was an online spreadsheet, which worked very well. And actually sometimes the temptation is to jump in to buy a piece of technology, but then actually a lot of the time it can
and this is
make it more complicated.
So true. And I, for me, that was really the key issue. Don't get complicated systems. I have so many of my staff who turned around and said, we don't know how to deal with this. And then you get 2 days of training, right, which are saying, okay, we've got 2 days of training and now you've had a demo, you should know how to do this. And we don't. We're still left in this situation where we're still trying to find our way, navigate through these complex systems. So I wanted to create something that was so easy. I remember doing my GCSEs and buying those books that you get, the cheat guides, the easy, I think there was the Idiot's Guide to actually doing your GCSEs.
How to get an A star.
How to get an A star. And for me, that was just like, we have to do something like this.
Yeah.
We have to keep it simple. Our carers don't have the time to be navigating through difficulties. They need things that are going to help them. So that's the angle I went with. And then I realized 7 care homes down, medication management is still such a concern. And from a compliance point of view, it's a hot topic and it's a hot issue of concern everywhere in the care sector. And for me, I thought, well, I'm going to be creating Empathika. She's going to be this ecosystem where she's able to connect all the dots, the missing dots.
Yeah.
And she's going to actually be able to support and to help and be a companion, not replace, but actually be somebody who's there to hold your hand. And for me, that's why Empathika was everything that I wanted that I could do or give back or gift to the care community.
It's interesting that the way you framed it there as a she, as
Absolutely.
a sort of companion, and whereas sort of other systems are, and I guess within the system it has things that it does like medication and other things like that. So tell me a bit about it. What's the system
obviously
do?
We're launching today is our medication management system. I mean, through there we've got how many times have we run around saying, oh my God, miss signature. No miss signatures. Empathika will remind you. There'll be no miss signatures. There'll be prompts and reminders always to the staff teams. There'll be biometric witnessing, like our control drugs. How do we know that somebody who's ticked that second signature of a witness, did it really happen? Sometimes you wonder.
Yeah.
We don't know what really happened behind the scenes. This is all biometric. So
it's
you
got sort of fingerprint or Face ID.
And Face ID and actually for a fact that truly there was that proper procedure followed. There was the safe administration that took place. For me, it's been about safety, fridge temperatures to automation. How many times do you need extra nurses that I've put on shift, 2 nurses at a time, booking in medication, receiving medication, checking the medication, booking it all in. And then from the pharmacy side, there's errors. You have to create a snag list. There's a whole array of different things that we have to do. And for me, I said, well, we need to automate this whole system where we have that. So after 7 homes, I realized that I needed more expertise. And I went back to the family and I approached some members within the family. That was Sipten and Sajad. They were there. They were pharmacists, AMPs. So clinical knowledge, they had all that ability to actually bring another dimension to how we were going to manage our medication systems, our clinical systems within our home, our care that we actually deliver to give different outcomes to our residents. And that's what we wanted. And that's the way we went. So we brought that expertise on board. Then we said, okay, Now, if I'm going to create an application, which I don't have a book anymore that I needed to write, I needed to do something that was more current. I kind of gone past the book, 7 homes later, and I'm thinking, oh goodness, book's not going to work now. So let's go with the tech. Let's bring in the AI, let's bring in the tech. And that's exactly what we did. And I found a company called Tulip Tech. I went through a few companies. And for me, when I found Masum and Luca from Tulip Tech, it was as though I had come home. I found somebody who actually had heart. And for me, that was so important. But in order to partner up, one of the criteria was, I said, I'm tired of digital systems just being made in a boardroom or in the back end. I needed the tech to understand what care was really about. So they became carers.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
So the
developers
had to come into the home, DBS, got them their employee file sorted, got started, induction, and had to deliver care. And that's how we fused it all together, which is what makes Empathika so unique in what she does. Because now you have 21 years of a provider, of a manager, of a carer. We have the heart of everyone that we're talking about. When you say who does Empathika belong to, it belongs to all of us. She has our heart. She has our troubles that she carries with us and alleviates. She's the solution.
Yeah. And how does Empathika articulate itself then in terms of like an application or like, you know, the picture you've painted I have of you know, not a robot, but someone that, you know, how
she is a companion. So she definitely, you know, for me, Empathika was never here to take away from carers.
Yeah.
I believe the human touch will remain forever.
Yeah.
And I think when you're delivering care, it's so important that we have our carers that are able to be given that ability to deliver that care. We've lost what the meaning of person-centered is, because we're so busy documenting that person-centered has just become a terminology. We forget that we're dealing with that life, that experience of that particular resident. And I want our staff members to be able to go out there and actually deliver that. So Empathika will just make life easier, whether she is on a dashboard, she is going to give you the prompts, she's available on a tablet, she fits to any of your devices. I don't have to give you any different devices so that she can work. She works with everyone. Yeah. So she's compatible with everyone. And she's your companion, a support.
Do you talk to, is it
yes,
got generative?
Absolutely, you can talk to Empathika. Empathika will understand you. She will understand even, which is what's coming in one of the updates, is different languages. So she's able to communicate effectively. She will be there to do, you know, even when you have an accident, an incident, for instance, she'll be there as the medical personnel behind guiding you, because it can be quite lonely when you've had an accident and you don't know, are your prompts happening in time? She'll be giving you that bit of information. She'll be doing your CQC notifications, your safeguarding notifications. She is going to be somebody who actually alleviates so much pressure and allows us to actually be given the freedom to do what we're created to do, which is care.
So the objective behind it is freeing up time, freeing up sort of headspace, I suppose.
It is. I think it's freedom. Yeah. Freedom is a huge word. What does that mean to all of us? I think when you look at some of the systems, like you said, they become more complex. I'd rather come to the care community and say, I'm going to be ethical. I want you to understand that I really do get what you're going through. I understand all that you've suffered, all that you fear, all that you have, and I want to be there to support you through this in a way that actually works, in a way that's relatable to you. And that's where I find Empathika is different from others out there. Also, being tied into a contract is a big thing, as you know. Everything in life is about signing a contract, isn't it, today? I think you want to just get a new mobile phone or a contract you're signed into, I don't know, is it a 2-year or 3-year?
3 years.
Yeah. And so I wanted this to be a gift. There will be no contract. Okay,
interesting. Winding back a bit on your care career, and you took over the first home and you had the CQC inspection. You said you've got 7 homes now as part of your group. How did you go about kind of finding and acquiring the homes as you went?
For me, I believed that I went through a process where I wanted to initially I had residential homes. So the first home was a residential home, as was my second. And after that, it made me really sad that my residents' needs were changing. And I was told that they have to move because they're now nursing. And I was mortified. I remember feeling so emotional that how can I lose my residents because they need to go to a nursing home. And so for me, I started to change the registrations. I said, I'm going to keep my residents. I believe that they're part of my family.
Yeah.
And it's not fair for me to just let them go in this manner, because for some it was really traumatic. They get used to being with you. They get used to the consistency of that care, isn't it? It's hard.
Into a home in the first
so
place,
I decided that I was going to go nursing, and so I built up more and went for nursing homes then. So every home then I purchased, I went and purchased nursing homes. However, I came across a home that was in a bit of a struggle. It was actually a friend of a family's who approached us and said, do you know what, can you come and help us? We're in such a desperate situation. And at that point, I was saying, okay, let's go and have a look. By then, they had already had CQC notifications for closure. And local authority said, Neemat, don't touch it. It's done. And I went there and I went to see the residents and I met the families. And fortunately, they had gone through a position where they were not very hands-on, and they ended up being in a bit of a difficulty. They had a manager, unfortunately wasn't able to cope with the situation and didn't end up really turning that home around in the way it needed to be. So for me, I went in against all odds and I helped them. And I ploughed in my own money. I did what I needed to do to safeguard, and I knew if I turned the position to make the place safe, I'd be in a better position to then turn around the CQC on their head, knock it on its head and say, well, now it's safe, so why are you moving your residents?
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And we decided from then that when we purchased care homes, we would actually help those that were in distress. And that's how I've actually grown. So now I actually move forward, and still till today, we do help other homes that are in distress. We don't go to them and charge them.
Yeah.
We actually send in our own carers. We help them, and we help turn things around for them. Because to be knocked down when you're already down and be charged and sucked dry literally for everything that you have, when you don't have the money, you don't have the occupancy, then I don't feel that's morally or ethically right for me to do.
It only takes a small problem in a care home, doesn't it?
It
to
does,
erode
and it just
erode any profit.
Absolutely, you'll have a bed ban, and then you're being monitored, and that's a nightmare, isn't it, to go through? That's a really hard battle to actually overcome. So it's important that we are there for each other as care providers, I believe, to mentor and help people, because we're all here for one purpose. And so for me, if we're all here for that one purpose, to actually give care, then I don't feel that it should be incumbent with either a contract or huge amounts of costs.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Empathika, we've gone with not registered beds, but we're only going to go with active beds, which is very new, because I know people suffer with occupancy a lot, and the budgets and where they are. Our HR module also looks at things like dependency tools. It looks at skill sets of the actual staff. It will do your rota accordingly, days off that people want or don't have, but it will also have a budgeting system so that the providers know exactly how much they're going to be spending, how they're going to be spending it, and they can allocate it. So if CQC need it or any authority needs it, it's all available and transparent. I believe in honesty and transparency.
It's super important as well in that part of the business. I think you can be great at care, but if you're not managing your cash flow properly, and like you said, taking over a business and being there on payday, trying to work out how everyone's going to get paid. There's nothing quite like that experience, is there, to really wake you up to that?
It's worrying for that provider who's struggling. And for me, that's why I didn't want anyone to be tied into any contracts as well. For me, I thought, if I believe in my product, I should go to market with that product, knowing that I'm here to gift it. It's a gift. It's not that I want to tie you in. If you want this product and you want to try it out, you'll really see what it does. And it does what it says on the tin, finally.
Brilliant. Well, it's been really good to talk to you. I've got one final question for you. It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's a big one, yeah. If you were a biscuit,
yes,
what type of biscuit would you be?
I'd be a good old digestive.
Digestive,
Absolutely.
Yeah. No chocolate, no, just
no
just
chocolate. I'm sweet enough.
Classic, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
I
brilliant.
cater to everyone.
Thanks very much
Thank
for
you
coming.
so much
It's
for
been nice
your
to
time
meet you,
today.
and good luck with the launch of
I
everything you're
appreciate
doing
that.
today.
Thank you so much. And I just want to thank the team and everyone around. This is absolutely beautiful, the way the setup's been. Thank you for inviting me.
No worries, you're welcome.
And it's been a pleasure to be able to share about Empathika.
Yeah,
Thank
lovely
you.
to meet you. Thank you.
Take care.
We'll be back shortly with our next guest.